I bought our dream home with my own money, but my girlfriend demanded half ownership without contributing a dime. When I refused to add her to the deed, she brought in a lawyer and her parents. Hello Reddit I plus here. My name is Darren Cole. I'm 33, and I've spent the last decade grinding my way up the tech ladder. From intern to senior product lead, I've done the all-nighters, the 70-hour weeks, and the endless freelance gigs. It paid off. I had nearly $90,000 saved and a spotless credit score. I wasn't rich, but I was proud of where I stood. Then there's Layla, my girlfriend. She's 31, works in marketing, and is smart, warm, and sharp when she wants to be. We've been together for 3 years. About 2 years ago, we moved into a cramped one-bedroom apartment in the city, peeling walls, a broken heater, and a neighbor who smoked like a chimney. But we made it work. We split everything down the middle, even though I earned more. I never made a big deal out of it. I figured that's what a good partner does. Last year, rent spiked again, and we both started thinking about buying. I had already been planning for it, but now it felt like we were doing it together. Every weekend, we toured open houses, bookmarked listings, and dreamed about kitchen backsplashes and garden beds. For a while, it felt like we were building something real. Then came the mortgage conversation. I went to a broker to get pre-approved. She told me I could qualify for up to $520,000 on my own. But if Layla and I applied jointly, that number dropped to $340,000 because of her student debt and mediocre credit. The difference wasn't just financial. It meant buying in a better neighborhood, a safer one with space, maybe even a home office. When I told Layla, she frowned but eventually agreed I should apply a loan for practical reasons. We found a beautiful $435,000 two-story in a quiet suburb. Big backyard, sunroom, perfect kitchen. I covered the $75,000 down payment, nearly all of my savings, and all the closing costs. Layla pitched in for the moving truck and some furniture. She was part of every decision, except the one that mattered most legally. Then came closing day. As I signed the papers, Layla asked, casually at first, "So, when do I get added to the deed?" I froze. We had already discussed this. I reminded her the house was in my name for a reason. Her credit didn't qualify, and she hadn't contributed to the down payment. Ownership, I explained, wasn't something you just gifted someone because you were dating. It wasn't about love. It was about financial risk. She went quiet, but the storm was just beginning. A few weeks later, she started tracking every cent she spent. $23.17 on groceries, $15.50 for shared toilet paper. Suddenly, our partnership felt like a spreadsheet. Then came the bomb. She wanted to contribute to the mortgage so she could earn equity. I told her it didn't work that way. The mortgage and liability was mine alone. If we broke up, I'd still be on the hook for every cent, while she could walk away with no consequences. Why would I sign over half the house to someone who could walk with zero accountability? That's when she really lost it. She accused me of treating her like a tenant instead of a partner. She said I made her feel disposable, like the house gave me a reason to leave. I tried to explain it wasn't about that. It was about protecting what I had worked so hard for. Still, she felt betrayed. Then she brought up her parents. Apparently, they were willing to gift her $50,000 so she could buy into the house and be added to the deed. I told her flat out, no, that's not how this works. I wasn't interested in retroactive contributions. More importantly, I didn't want to be financially tied to her family. What if we broke up? Would I owe them something? Would they have a say in what we did with the house? I didn't want those strings. She called me controlling, said I didn't really love her, that if I did, I'd share what I built. But here's the kicker. Last week, she finally confessed that she had already been talking to a lawyer. She wasn't just seeking advice. She was trying to find a legal angle to claim ownership. The lawyer told her she had no claim since we weren't married. But if she started contributing to the mortgage, and we had a written agreement, she might be able to establish a claim of equity in the future. She was planning this long time. When I confronted her, she said she just wanted to know her rights. But come on, who hires a lawyer without intention? She even admitted her parents were willing to fund legal action if she wanted to fight for ownership. That's when I snapped. I told her this was exactly why I didn't add her to the deed. She wasn't acting like a partner. She was preparing for a legal battle. This wasn't about love anymore. It was about entitlement and manipulation. She stormed out and went to stay with her sister. It's been 5 days. She texted me this morning saying she still wants to work things out, but also wants a formal agreement about building equity. I told her absolutely not. The trust is broken. If she wants her name on a house, she can save up, build her credit, and buy one herself. I won't be manipulated into signing away half of what I earned just to make someone feel secure. I don't know what happens next. Part of me still loves her, Or maybe the version of her I thought she was, but part of me is relieved. I dodged a bullet. If I'd added her to the deed when she first asked, I'd be fighting a legal nightmare right now. Her true colors came out not when she heard no, but when she tried to force a yes. Sometimes love doesn't mean joint ownership. Sometimes it means protecting what you've built, even from the people you thought would never try to take it. The first night after Layla left, the silence hit me hard. You spend years sharing your space with someone. You get used to their voice in the next room, the scent of their shampoo in the bathroom, the crinkle of takeout bags and Netflix arguments. Suddenly, the quiet feels less like peace and more like a pressure chamber. I walked around the house that night, the home I bought. Every tile, every corner, every baseboard reminded me of something we picked out together, and yet it all felt like a lie. Because while I was imagining a life, she was planning a leverage. There were subtle signs I hadn't noticed at the time, like how she always dodged conversations about marriage, but was laser-focused on our future home, or how she kept saying things like, when this is our house, not your house, even before we signed a single document. It wasn't just hopeful talk, it was strategy, and now I couldn't unhear the sentence that had replayed in my head since she left. My parents are willing to loan me money for a lawyer. She didn't even flinch when she said it. The woman I loved, who once cried when I fixed her broken bookshelf, who made me soup when I had the flu, was now discussing legal warfare like it was just another budgeting item. She texted me again, "Can we talk this weekend? I don't want us to end like this." I told her to come by Sunday afternoon. I spent the whole morning preparing not just the house, but my mind. I took out every document I had, my loan approval, the closing paperwork, the bank transfers. I wanted to be ready for whatever she threw at me, but when she arrived, she wasn't the confident, sharp-tongued Layla I remembered. She looked tired, smaller somehow. She stood at the door like she wasn't sure if she should even come in. "I'm not here to fight," she said. I let her in. We sat across from each other in the living room, the same couch we'd argued on, the same space we'd laughed, kissed, built IKEA furniture in. She took a deep breath. "I shouldn't have gone to a lawyer behind your back. That was wrong." I said nothing. I didn't nod. I didn't forgive. I just waited. "I panicked," she continued. "I saw you making all these big decisions without me, and it scared me. This house, your house, made me feel like I could be left behind at any moment." I finally spoke. "Then why didn't you just talk to me honestly? Why bring lawyers and your parents into it before even trying to trust me?" She looked down. "Because I didn't trust you, or maybe I didn't trust myself. I thought if I could lock in some kind of security, it would make the relationship feel safer. But Layla," I said, my voice sharper than I meant it to be, "this isn't how you build trust. You don't secure love through legal loopholes. You don't file paperwork to prove commitment." She looked up, her eyes already red. "I know. I messed up. I didn't want to manipulate you. But I realize now that's exactly what I did." There was a long silence. I stared at the wall behind her, at the family photo frame we'd bought but never filled. And then she said something that took me off guard. "My dad wants me to sue you." I blinked. "What?" "He thinks I should fight for partial ownership. He says if I've been living here, helping maintain the place, contributing to bills, even if they're utilities, I have a right to something." I laughed. I couldn't help it. A dry, bitter laugh. "You're not suing me, are you?" "No," she said quickly. "I told him I wouldn't. I just wanted you to know how far this could have gone." I didn't say it out loud. But that was the final straw, not because she could sue me, but because I truly believe she would have if she thought she had a winning shot. The days after, she stayed for another hour. We talked like two people closing the final chapter of a book we didn't want to admit had been ending for months. I didn't yell. She didn't cry. It was quiet, tired, honest. When she left, she took a few of her clothes, a lamp she really liked, and her coffee machine. She said she'd come back for the rest next week. I told her I'd box everything up and leave it by the door. The next morning, I called a lawyer. Not to sue Layla, but to protect myself. He helped me draft a written notice revoking any future financial claims, should she try to argue implied ownership. I sent her a polite email asking her to sign it when she picked up her stuff. She never responded. A month later, Layla moved in with her sister temporarily. Then, a mutual friend told me she found a one-bedroom not far from her office. She's back on her feet, apparently. Her parents helped her out with the deposit. No surprise there. As for me, I've been learning how to love the house alone. The echo in the hallways doesn't sting like it did at first. I started setting up a home office, something I never did while she was around, because she wanted the space to stay clean and open. I also built a small bookshelf, the same one I fixed for her once. This time, it's mine. Sometimes I sit out in the backyard with a beer and just breathe. Not because I'm celebrating the end of a relationship, but because I survived one that could have turned into a financial and emotional disaster. The truth is, love shouldn't come with ultimatums. And no one, no partner, no parent, no lawyer, has the right to claim ownership over something they didn't build just because they were around while you did. Do I miss her? Sometimes. But I miss who I thought she was more than the real person who stood in front of me with legal threats and entitlement. She said she wanted security. I gave her a home, a future. She wanted a name on paper. I wanted loyalty. She came with love, but she left with intentions. And now I sit in my house. A home I earned, fought for, and protected. And I feel something I hadn't in weeks. Peace.